How could an old dunny covered in newspaper make a difference to the health of the Murray River? We'll pay a visit to the McCormick Centre in Renmark this month and you could find out. A decorated toilet is just one of the unusual pieces of art on display at an exhibition called Life and Death on the Coorong. It's by Beningi artist Rosa Merlino. She's captured the attention of one of the state's most significant water experts.
It's all about what I've watched evolve around where I live, and it just shows the degradation of the area, the loss of wildlife. People build up an immunity to seeing pictures every day in newspapers of dry riverbeds and that sort of stuff, and eventually we become very complacent about it, whereas if you are confronted with a piece of art and you actually have to think and make up your own mind about what it means, even though I have a book there that explains my intent, I want people to look at it with fresh eyes and take away their own ideas about the process. One of the pieces I've got there, which is my favourite, unfortunately, is called We Need to Flush, which is actually a full-size toilet with the original long drop seat from the original Meningi service station. And the toilet paper consists of quite a lot of the newspaper cuttings of what's been going on in the area. And there's a very badly painted picture of the Coorong under the seat, basically. And everyone talks about our end of the river system as being the sewer end of the Murray, so I decided to basically put us down the dunny. Dr. Mike Young was originally at my opening in Port Adelaide. He actually bought one of my pieces, but we had quite a lot of banter over this particular toilet.
And Mike Young, for those who might not know, is a highly esteemed water expert, water economist at Adelaide Uni. We talked to him quite a lot.
Oh, he's such a wonderful man.
What did he say to you?
Well, he just thought it was great. I asked him why he bought the actual piece of art that he bought, and he said, it's because it's the first piece I've ever been in, because I actually painted a pelican in oil over the top of a whole heap of newspaper clippings, and he was in one of those newspaper clippings. But we talked a lot about the different connotations my toilet could have. One was flushing the river system, one was the waste of water, and the other was my interpretation, which was we're the sewer end of the river. And a couple of weeks later, the Advertiser had a full-page story written by Dr. Mike Young about trying to convince Adelaide people not to flush. And to me, that was a direct result of our chatting over my toilet. And I have another piece there which I think really sort of stops people in their tracks, which is called the Coorong Coffin. And it's a very large, fully serviceable coffee table, but inside it is a nude bust. And that represents Mother Earth or the sand dunes of the Coorong. It's got a little touch of water around it and sand and cockle shells and all that sort of stuff. But the idea behind that is if we keep stripping away at the environment, if we keep stripping away at nature, all we're going to have left is us. And if we continue to do that, then really all we're going to have left is nothing. Eventually we're going to be in that coffin because there's not going to be anything to sustain us either. So I think these sorts of visualisations actually hit home a lot harder than a photograph. I mean, the impact on people is it's not just financial, and it's emotional, it's physical, it's heartbreaking to see people. I worked in the dairy industry for over 17 years, and to see people load up their cattle because they can't give them drinking water is heartbreaking.
some people write letters to the editor, some people call talkback radio, some people get themselves voted into politics to make a difference. Why do you think for you it's about making art to spread your message?
Well, this is my... don't get me wrong, I'm Italian. I'm extremely vocal. I go to council meetings, I go to water meetings. I just happen to be an artist, and I just happen to look at things a little bit differently, and I think being an artist, I can push that bit further out on the limb. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that...
Is it the lack of censorship as well, and the freedom to say what you truly want and feel, and nobody can edit it, nobody can alter it?
I think so. I think, well, once it's done, isn't it? And the thing is, you have copyright to it, so you can't change it. You know, people can't... the written word, people can chop and change, and it's like, no offence, but it's like an interview with you. You can chop and change it to suit what suits your program, but somebody can't walk up to a piece of my work and cut a piece of it out. So what is there stays there. Every single person in Australia has a voice, and if everybody used their voice in whatever capacity they have, it would make a difference. But I just think that we have to be optimistic. Even though people think singularly they can't make a difference, if they've all got the same, if they're all heading in the same direction, then eventually they come together as a collective and become very powerful.
Certainly do. Meningie artist